Charles Auto Spa, podcast number 3. So, third podcast, me and Joseph. So, today we're going to talk about something that is kind of interesting. And the first topic we want to talk about is treating different cars differently. Should we do that? Or should you have a consistent process that just stays the same? What do you think on that? Because I know you have a controversial maybe take on this.
For me, I don't believe all cars should be treated the same. If you're talking about, for example, if you have a really, really bad car, the exterior is rusted, things are rusted, things are falling apart, the paint scratched up, swirled up. Why would you do a 10-step wash process on this thing? Just hit it with your strongest cleaner to get rid of most of the grime and maybe do a hand wash. But I wouldn't, like go all out if you're just doing a basic detail, or a full detail. So you're just gonna try to get this thing clean rather than looking like new. You're just trying to clean it rather than make it brand new again for a full detail. So if it's rusted, the exterior, some spots are rusted, paint is scratched up, swirled up, there's dents all over the vehicle. It's an old vehicle. It's just dirty and the client just wants it clean. I would treat it like I'm just trying to make it as clean as possible without being as safe as possible. What I mean is, I'm not going to treat it like I'm trying not to add another swirl when the whole entire car is swirled up.
Yeah, I think the only caveat is, rusted spots. You gotta be careful with the pressure washer because you can like break through kind of pieces off that is actually something you probably don't want to do. For the most part, I would say your process should stay similar. Like you should make sure your process is similar. So for consistency, for cars that kind of, yes, I do agree that are kind of like super daily drivers, like, don't add obvious, don't put your wash bin into the ground, into the ground or something like that. But I think the level of like care that you need to be is probably a little less than if you're doing like a Lamborghini or something like that, where you actually have to probably be, depending on the owner, you have to kind of maybe utilize little slightly different techniques, because they're different vehicles, and actually, I think supercars are more problematic, not just because you have to be more careful because of the owner care, but they just have a lot more crevices.
Yeah.
Right, like sports cars have a lot more curves. You have a lot of curves. It's actually more difficult to get in and get it clean and make sure your actual process is as consistent, because normal vehicles are very flat paneled. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is something that you probably shouldn't stress over if you're doing cars over and over again, because some cars you can't make new. It is what it is. In terms of interior, what's your take on the interior? Because some stains can be removed and some cannot. I think that's something that a lot of actual people don't understand in terms of like what's a stain and what's like kind of like dye transfer, right? Which is very common.
Yeah, what's
right?
a stain and what is just permanent.
Yeah.
My take on the interior is it kind of really depends on the vehicle that you're working on. Some materials are very robust. Old, like you can tell whether a leather is strong or soft, like a leather in a newer Mercedes-Benz perforated seating, or is it like an old Audi leather. They're very strong, very robust. In my opinion, if a car is extremely dirty, the panels are mostly plastic or some kind of strong leather. I usually just use an APC if it's very dirty. You're not gonna go in there with a pH neutral cleaner trying to clean it out. Like
Yeah.
You're blasting that thing.
Yeah, I think I think also understanding kind of texture and like what you're cleaning like really helps. I think a lot of like newer kind of detailers or even DIY people, they don't actually understand even just the basics of leather, like dyed leather, right? There's actually a top coat, which is basically almost like it's clear coat, and then there's the dye, and then there could be uh, like a primer coat actually on top to give it the color. So a lot of the time, you know, you have to be a little bit careful because you can remove top coat on leather without noticing,
Yeah.
and then you're scrubbing down the dye, and if you get dye transfer, like you've literally taken out the top coat.
Yeah.
Sometimes that becomes a problem in terms of using some like too harsh cleaners, or you have, you know, it's very common color transfer on kind of lighter leathers, right? That is actually very difficult to clean because it's a transfer of color that, you know, any chemical that you use to take that off will strip a lot of the protective barrier actually, and can strip kind of the color off. So I think that's something that a lot of detailers maybe are not aware of, and you need to communicate to the customer once you recognize that, because you're either going to make it a little bit better but worse off in terms of kind of the leather condition, or you know, you're just not going to be able to improve it significantly without damaging it. So it's kind of a hit or miss, and you kind of need to send it to like a dye specialist after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the nuances of treating, you know, different situations differently. I think because, you know, not all situations are the same, and generally speaking, if you work on the same vehicles over and over again, similar vehicles, you kind of have a sense of what can be safe and what, you know, you can't do. You know, see a lot of people using steam for no reason at all. Steam doesn't clean 99% of the time.
It's slow.
It
very
doesn't do
slow.
anything. And
Steam is more for like cracks and crevices and anything kind of stuck onto the vehicle.
yeah,
But it's not really something you would use to clean major surfaces.
yeah. Like a lot of people, like especially that don't understand, I tell them all the time, steam doesn't clean much, because you could try it. You can pull out a high-end steamer or a regular steamer, and you can hit dirt with a steamer, and it'll loosen up a little bit. But once it dries, the dirt will still be there, 100%. If
Yeah.
you use steam compared to like a cleaner, and you let the cleaner sit, once you let the cleaner sit, you can actually wipe that off like significantly, or it'll start dissolving it. So steam is like, it doesn't disinfect anything, because if you're disinfecting anything, it's going to be sitting there on that surface for a significant amount of time, and you're going to burn any plastics, burn any leather, burn anything with steam if you let it sit there, right? And that's when it's actually destroying bacteria. So steam is great for kind of loosening up stuff, like
Loosening up stuff.
gunk. It's really gunk.
Loosening up gunk,
Gunk.
getting cracks, crevices.
Yeah, but like generally
Edges
speaking,
where it's like a brush is hard to get in.
yeah,
But
I think that's something that's
yeah, just
overdone.
brushes, cleaners, and water is way better.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's something I learned very early on, that steam does next to nothing. It's just a waste of time most of the time. It's like very niche where I think you actually need it, and you probably don't want to be doing a lot of those jobs, to be honest.
Yeah, like I use my steamer a lot less now. I have a cheese steamer, 100 psi cheese
Yeah.
steamer. It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
But like I only take it out for maybe extremely dirty cracks and crevices in the vehicle, and then mostly on the plastics as well, and maybe near the seat rails, like in between
Yeah.
the armrest, like the center console
Yeah.
and the seats. I use it between those. But otherwise, like my steamer is pretty much kept aside.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's probably.
But when you
maybe-
need it, you need it. Like
Yeah, I would say there are certain situations definitely it definitely helps. But even those cracked crevices, if you have compressed air, to be honest, like you know, different tools, I just use compressed air, and it blows up most of the air. And I have kind of scrub pads that can get in between the seats, and I just I end up not using it steam as often. But let's say crayons and stuff like that, and like like food gum.
Yeah, I can get good crayons. Yeah.
Yeah. That those steamer does like if you have a bunch of areas where it looks like it's been like hardened stuff like that. That's when like it actually makes it.
Gum, like you should.
Yeah. You gotta
Gum, crayons.
Yeah, you gotta kind of heat it up and then use chemicals to get it, or it just you're like scraping forever. So that it does create some efficiencies in terms of using steam. But so yeah, I mean different cars. You kind of have to look at what's the inside the car is and be like, what tools do I need so that you can kind of plan it out, right? Like I think that's something that people like.
But that just comes with experience.
Yeah.
I can just look at a car one time and I'm like, all right, we need this. And it's not like 100 different tools. It's maybe like one brush, and I was like, okay, I need the steamer and the extractor today.
Yeah.
And then you just start.
Yeah, I do kind of agree. Once you've done enough jobs or you've seen enough things, you kind of know, okay, this is going to take a little bit longer, so you probably want to use this tool, and you just want to. I think Joseph mentioned one thing that is actually really helpful that I took before is when you pull out the situational tools, try to use it all at once and then put it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, like don't put it away, but use it, put it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That will just kill your efficiency. Like,
yeah, it's like, for example, if you need a steamer to get all the cracks, get all the cracks. Once you've done it, like all the crevices in the vehicle,
put it
just
aside.
put it aside. And
maybe you need it.
Maybe you need it again. You just put it aside. You don't put it back away. Like you just put it to the side, and you don't. Instead of dragging it from the passenger side to the passenger rear to the driver's rear to the driver's side, you do it all, and you got 99% of whatever you need it
That's
for.
the goal.
And with experience, you already know you know where all the sections are, and then you put it away, and then you go to the next step. Maybe it's an extractor, and then maybe now you start cleaning out everything out, panel by panel, with your cleaner, a brush, a cleaner, a microfiber, a scrub pad. Start cleaning it out, and then you'll see what the 1% is left.
Exactly.
Right.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think following. Now here's the thing. We said you don't treat all cars the same. Yes, but I would say in your approach and your process, you want to keep it as consistent as possible, because you're going to have a process for situational items. So you want to stick with that process in the situational items that you've kind of rehearsed and practiced as much as possible. Because I've noticed, and maybe I haven't even written this down, but even just mindfully, anecdotally, that when I stray away from the process, it takes a lot longer. Like it just takes a lot longer. You don't even notice it. It just takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
You do something once or twice again, and then if you kind of cut corners and then realize I have to, like, this doesn't work.
You have to like
redo it. It adds 10 minutes of time, and those 10 minutes again,
it adds
again
up,
another 10 minutes, another 10
Yeah.
minutes, and you know what? If you would just take an extra 5 minutes originally, you would have saved yourself all those extra 10 minutes. I think that's very, very important. When I started to realize how many 10 minutes of time I added because I either wanted to skimp out on something, or I didn't want to pull out the right tool for it. Sometimes you're just like, okay, do what you need to do for a certain area, and then go pull out the tool and then do it instead of kind of nitpicking this, like half-assing it and stuff, thinking it worked.
You know what, like things like how you always vacuum twice. Sometimes I'll look at a car and be like, nah, this only needs a one vacuum, so I just blow it out and then I leave the vacuum at the end. But that always messes me up. So now I just, no matter how clean it looks, I vacuum twice. So I vacuum to start, I vacuum in the end. And when we say like you don't treat the car, when you say like we don't treat all cars the same, all cars get the same quality at the end. Like they'll be clean, 100% clean. If it's a detail, it's 100% clean on interior, exterior. But the way we get there would be different. If it's a clapped out car, completely swirled out, deep scratches, there's rust spots, then that process would be completely different than cleaning a Mercedes Benz that gets cleaned every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, which is pristine. The paint is good. There's no swirls. There's no scratches, no dents, no rust spots. It looks like a new car. Compared to that other car, the process is going to be different. Just because it doesn't make sense business wise, it doesn't make sense. The clients don't really care. They just want it clean. And it doesn't make sense on your business to take a 10-step approach so that you don't add one more swirl in the paint on a car that's already 100% swirled. So my approach with that is a lot different than a brand new car, but the end result is completely the same. It's 100% clean.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think most, and I think people are paying you for the result, not for your hourly, right? I think that's one thing. Like most service kind of businesses, they pay you for a result, not how you get there. Generally speaking, and if they care about how you get there, then it's a bit more nuanced. But generally speaking, most people just want you to get to the result that basically they're paying for. They don't care how you get there, essentially.
And you can even ask the customer themselves, be like, hey, what is it you're expecting out of getting this service? And maybe the guy with the car that isn't in great shape, it's like, I just want it clean. I don't care if there's like, if it's the safest touchless wash. He just wants it clean. And then the guy with the brand new Benz or Beamer, it's like, hey, I want this. Like, I just got this car. I want to keep it in as good a shape as possible. And I want the paint looking as good as possible. Then he's like, I don't want any scratches on this. This is all I want, right? I want a safe wash, no scratches. And if you can make it look better with ceramic coating waxes and stuff, add that on for them. Things like that. So you definitely ask the customer what they want, and then you can go from there.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to approach it in a nutshell. I think customer communication is quite important, but I think most customers are pretty simple. They expect if you've done work for them, they expect a similar amount of work, and just make sure it's easy and they don't have to worry about it, right? I think that's in a nutshell. How you get there is kind of up to your choice, and how you be efficient, I think is kind of comes with time, and it comes with
time, experience.
Experience. And the funny thing is like, there's no official training ground how to do this job, because it's kind of an ad hoc job that's kind of created from a niche industry that has grown. Actually, it has grown. Car automotive care, has grown substantially in the past 10 years, and it is a real industry. And so I think being flexible in terms of how you approach things is very, very important, and being open to kind of changing the process, because I think a lot of the processes for detailing has changed in the past 5-10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that segues into our next topic, is like different product use and product techniques. I think some of the things that are coming to the industry that have been around for a while but has not been as prevalent is rinseless wash, right? Like, most people don't even know what that is in a nutshell, right? And I didn't really understand or like utilize it when I first started a little bit, because it's, rinseless wash has been around for quite a while, but it hasn't gotten popular until maybe the past 5 years, when a lot of companies started making the product. It used to be just Optimum, and then no other company made it. And in the past 5 years,
there's a lot of
every single detailing company has a rinseless wash. So for people that don't know what a rinseless wash is, it's a way of cleaning your vehicle without using a ton of water. It's rinse less, not no rinse, basically. It's like
it's no rinse less.
You're rinsing less.
You're basically cleaning it, like you're washing a car, and you just dry it.
Yeah.
rather
Yeah, but
than
if people think rinseless is like you don't need to rinse it. Yes,
you're not rinsing it though. You're not rinsing in water after.
you're not.
You just
But
you spray it down, you clean it,
Yeah.
you wipe it with your mitt,
yeah.
and then you dry it with your towel. You're not really rinsing the surface.
Yeah, but like you can rinse it, but it just uses a lot less water. And I think we should probably explain this better, to be honest.
And
So
I think
rinse-
rinseless,
Yeah.
it's not rinseless. It's rinseless means no rinse. I think that's the meaning.
no, it's not. It's not. No, what I say is
Rinseless is no rinse.
no rinse is more like waterless wash, which is different.
No,
Again,
no.
waterless is different.
Rinseless means no rinse. It's not rinseless.
I think no rinse is basically a waterless wash, which is different from rinseless. There is, if you look up detailing products, there is waterless wash.
I know,
which is different.
I know.
Which is actually different.
So
They use
rinseless
different.
has water. You're using a bucket.
Yeah.
But it's
You're using
it's
less
not
water.
like less rinse. It's you're not rinsing at all. If you're actually using it like the product says, you're not rinsing it at all. You're just You're just wiping the dirt off, then drying it.
Yes. Again, I think the process can be a little bit more nuanced, but in a nutshell, that is basically it. So rinseless wash is a chemical. Let's talk about the chemical, right? It could be a polymer or a base chemical or polymer surfactant based chemical, highly dilutable, right? You don't use a lot of it. You put it in a bucket, you put it in your water, and then it basically either kind of encapsulates the dirt,
Yeah.
right? Creates very like slick surface, so basically you're not pulling dirt and scratching your surface, right? That's part of the rinseless surfactant base. Also kind of dissolves on some of it. Optimum is the original rinseless wash, right? Polymer base, great stuff. I use it. Use other rinseless washes. Basically, standard procedure is generally you do pre-spray rinseless wash. So whatever dilution rate you use, spray on your car, and then you use a bucket, put a little bit in your bucket, and then you use either a mitt or a sponge, and then you go to town, contact wash, right? It's like a contact wash, and then after your contact wash, then you dry it essentially, and the chemical gives lubricity and then slickness, so that you're not rubbing your paint, like whatever dirt is on the paint helps get picked up by the chemical and your wash mitt and stuff, so that you're not scratching the paint. So that's the biggest benefit. It is faster if you know how to do it properly, because you're not foaming the car. Drying it is a little easier, right? And I think this is something that most detailers should have in their arsenal. I wouldn't use it every time because some cars are just too dirty for that, in my opinion. I think.
Yeah, and most cars that I see are way too dirty for that. I use rinses every single day for my wash process as well. However, I'm a little bit different. I pre-wash extremely well. So before we even go into a contact wash, it's already been pre-washed for all major dirt. The only thing that's left is like a film.
Traffic film,
like a film of oil that doesn't even look like that's dirt on the vehicle. The wheels are cleaned already with a pressure washer. The body has been already pre-washed and rinsed out, and then we go with a contact wash with rinseless wash instead of soap. And I do that because it's just easier to rinse off. Like foamed up soap is a lot harder to rinse off the vehicle, and sometimes the soap goes into the cracks and crevices of the car, and soap just keeps pouring out of those crevices because you're just not able to. It just keeps refoaming. So with the rinseless wash, I just hand wash with rinses, and then I pressure wash it dry. Pressure wash all the rinseless wash off the vehicle, which is it's a lot easier than the pressure washing off foam. And then I have deionized water, so I just let it dry completely like that. So that's why it's a lot easier. It's much faster to rinse off the rinseless wash than the foam. And I know after I've like rinsed it, all of it is gone. Sometimes when I rinse foam, there's just still a layer, and then when it dries, you see all this like dust.
water spotting.
Not water spotting, but it's like dust that's been trapped in the foam
Yeah, but
that just
that's
dries back on the surface.
yeah, that's technically a water spotting, right? Any when a water dries and you see staining, it's because there's minerals or dirt or like it left in the water, right? What it's either minerals or dirt, and that's why you see a streak. It's basically water
Yeah.
spotting, right? If you don't have deionized water, which I think not at I would say most detailers actually
Most don't.
Yeah, that's true. Then most don't. My technique, if I'm feeling like it, similarly, pre-wash, and then you can just get into rinseless, and then you can dry with a towel. It's fast, and the great thing about rinseless, certain rinseless has water softeners already in it, so if you get a spot, it's easy. It's not going to be. Normally, it won't be caked onto. It's very easy to wipe off.
Easier to get it off.
Yeah, and then the crevices, there's just not water left in the crevices
Yeah.
because you're not soaking it in water. And so I don't pressure wash it off after I do rinseless. I take a towel and just dry everything, and then kind of. If it streaks, it streaks. You just come out around the end and you do a final wipe down. I think the best thing is do a solid wipe down, and then if you can, blow out a little bit of the crevices, and then any leftover water you just come out near the end. Try not to let it bake because it becomes a little bit of an issue. But I would say it is faster to dry with rinseless than if you kind of contact wash, and then you have to rinse it off again, right? That's an extra 5 minutes and stuff. So the contact wash is usually similar. It's just that the rinsing off takes another 5 minutes, right? And then the drying process, because there's more water, takes longer. It can take longer as well. So you're adding another. Could be 3 to 5 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, maybe not 5 extra minutes, but maybe 3 to 4 minutes, depending on where the water's streaking and stuff. So sometimes I do use rinseless for lighter vehicles. It is faster. It's also easier to work with if you're in the dead of sun. Sometimes you can do panel by panel or something like that, or just like half a car or something like that. Because if you soak a full car, sometimes at the end when you come out, you're gonna have spotting or something. Like if you don't have DI, which most, even if you have DI, if the soap dries, right? And so I would say that's a technique that's kind of evolved and been more common and popular that most people that started never used, to be honest. I think.
Yeah, it's so much easier. I can't do it without DI anymore.
Oh yeah,
I did one time without DI, and I had to repolish an entire car because of water spawning.
Yeah, but you're not used to it.
I'm not used to it anymore. So DI is just.
Yeah, I'm used to it, so my technique is honed in on because of that. I'm used to it. But here's something that I actually like if you don't have DI, but even if you do, whatever the case, I like to upsell like a light wax, and and the wax is I'll use protector wax from Coach Chemi, but they foam on, right? And you need almost nothing, right? You foam on for a car, right? And then you foam it after you've kind of done the initial rinse of the suds or something, or even if you're rinseless, you just foam on after rinseless. Yeah. And then that is a great drying aid, because what happens is it creates a light barrier around the car, and then it pulls water out of the crevices, because it creates a slickness on the surface everywhere in the crevices. So and then also it prevents almost water spotting, because now you've got a wax on it or something like that. So as a drying aid, I hate when I see detailers, mainly because it's just super inefficient, when they use drying aids, they spray on the drying aids with literally a sprayer, like a hand sprayer. That takes too long. I just foam it on 30 seconds, and then I try to upsell this, and sometimes I just give it for free because I don't want the rinse aid, but I try to upsell it. It is a wax. It costs 25 cents to apply, to be honest.
It's cheap.
Yeah, and it's so much faster, 30 seconds around, rinse, and then so that helps with water spotting, and also what it does really well? It cleans the windows.
Yeah.
Cleans the windows on the exterior. Every time I've used this, 99% of the time I don't have to clean the exterior windows. Because there's no spotting, and water just streaks off. It's clean, unless you have actual grime. You have to get off. It cleans the windows. So exterior windows are basically done. So that's something I found just when I was using it. I was like, oh, this it cleans the windows. Like it's actually effective. If I don't use it, the windows need kind of wipe down actually at the end, exterior wipe down. That's what I noticed. So something that's like you upsell and you use because it's fast and efficient.
Yeah.
Right. And it also creates a little like gloss on the car. It's kind of nice. But yeah, that's a product I think is something that's kind of like I didn't use at the start, but you know, I use here and occasionally. I think there's uses to it. But I think some of the most controversial stuff that a lot of people argue about is using a dedicated interior cleaner, right? Like I think everybody starts to use a dedicated interior cleaner, right?
Yeah, I think something like that. I still actually use I do use a dedicated interior cleaner, but not for the process of not damaging the vehicle. So it's not like, oh, I need this pH neutral cleaner for this leather because it's gonna damage it because of the pH this alkaline all-purpose cleaner is gonna damage this leather. So I need this pH neutral cleaner. But I use a pH neutral cleaner. I use Kosh Chemi by Polestar Kosh Chemi diluted 1:20, and the reason why I use that is because typically for maintenance details or most details it will come out streak free. But all-purpose cleaners, they create a little bit of a streakiness, especially on like I don't use all-purpose cleaners on like screens, like infotainment screens, the odometer screen. So any kind of screen I don't use it on, but if you use a pH neutral cleaner, it's streak free. Otherwise, I just clean it with glass cleaner. If I was using all-purpose cleaner to clean the vehicle, then I'll clean those screens with all-purpose cleaner at the end when I'm doing glass. But a real good benefit is if you're cleaning like with a pH neutral cleaner like Kosh Chemi Polestar, if you clean gloss black trim, if you're cleaning the carbon fiber, some kind of coated carbon fiber trim in the vehicle, anything that's not dark plastic, leather, stuff like that have a reflection, typically you'll see a streakiness to it. If I'm cleaning with, so if I can get through the whole entire vehicle with a pH neutral cleaner, it's just one chemical, I use a pH neutral cleaner. Otherwise, if the whole vehicle is trashed and I'm using an all-purpose cleaner, just because you need that power, I clean everything except the screens. I still clean the gloss back, any reflective surface like chrome, gloss black, carbon fiber, and then but at the end when I'm cleaning the glass, I go over it with glass cleaner to just give it that shine and get rid of all this streakiness that comes with those cleaners. Yeah.
I used to use like P&S Interior Express. I think it's okay, but I think it's just not. If you're a professional detailer, I just feel like the dilution rates and the power of it. I like the smell of it, but I think after utilizing it more, I just think there's more efficient products. To be honest, and more cost effective. And I started using like 3D's Citrus APC. It is a more higher alkaline, but it's built for interior and exterior AP. So I use it as a pre-wash at 30-1. That's pretty much extra strength. It's literally, it's a very, very intense chemical. So outside 30-1, this shit would do engine bays, right? I spray it on rims and stuff like that. I think it's the most cost efficient, most like versatile cleaner you can have, because I also use it as an interior, and I diluted 50-1 for the interior, and it still works. And I've used it. I try not to use a ton of it on screens. Joseph is right in terms of APCs, that if you don't get the excess off, you're gonna have some streaking and stuff like that. So that's something you gotta be aware of. But I would say it's a very effective cleaner for general all-purpose, and at a high dilution rate, it's generally safe for most vehicles. Careful about GM, Chevy stuff, because their plastics and their trim pieces just flake and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
that'll
a lot of people think like all-purpose cleaners, the pH, whatever, is gonna damage like certain things. I know people have been using it for years, 20 years, 25 years. All-purpose cleaners diluted 10 to 1, 21, something, and they have never encountered any damage. Obviously, you'll get that one-off car that react to it differently. They can react differently to a pH neutral cleaner too.
Yeah.
But in general, it's not going to damage anything. And I'd say most of the big detailing companies that are doing thousands of cars, they're not using a pH neutral, like random pH neutral cleaner. They're using a strong all-purpose cleaner, diluted well.
Yeah, I do agree. If you're doing volume and stuff like that, I just don't see businesses utilizing some very niche, kind of more prosumer products. I think.
And funny thing, I don't think there's no such thing as volume in a detailing business. There's no like, oh, you're a volume business or you're a quality over quantity business. I don't believe that. There's just a car wash, and then there's detailing. And as a detailer, you're not detailing cars for $1,000 each car.
No.
You're detailing cars on average. People are always detailing businesses are charging the same price. If you look around the area, all professional detailers, all serious detailers are charging typically the same price, plus minus $25 for the average car. And then there's individual cars that you bet, okay, that car needs special attention. It's going to be 500, 600, 700, 800, 1,000. That needs special attention. But on average, a car that's coming to you, each detailer is charging approximately the same price. And so in general, all detailers are volume detailers because they need multiple cars coming to them. They don't just take one job and it's paying them $100K.
No.
Multiple cars are coming to them and they need the same amount of cars each week to make it.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you're a car wash, you are a volume detail shop because your what you're offering is not 100% good quality. You're offering a certain quality and you're trying to get as many cars in. But a detailing company is offering 100% quality and they only take as many cars as they are able to.
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's like level of quality to some shops. I think that there is some variance, in a nutshell. But I can agree to your assessment.
Yeah, it's like your pricing is very similar to my pricing.
Yeah.
Even though we started in different times.
Yeah.
I've searched up all the people in my area, and their pricing is very similar to my pricing. So how can you say they're volume detailers? They're just detailers that are trying to do their 100% quality might be different than yours, different than mine.
Yeah.
But their mentality is I'm giving 100% quality for this price. Whereas a car wash is saying we're gonna do as good as job we can do in 10 minutes, and we're trying to fit 1 billion cars. But for us, we're saying we're going to do 100% quality as long as it takes in order to, and we're going to fit our schedule as much as we can.
Yeah, I think
No.
that's a good characterization of it. I think the pricing does depend on your market to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to like where if you are the best, then you can definitely charge a significant premium. Beyond what the normal market is. Its problem is how do you show that you are the best, essentially, right? If you can prove that, you can have reputation.
You can be the best, but I've also searched up Abe Detailing near airport.
Yeah.
Their pricing is very similar to ours.
Yeah.
For detailing service.
Yeah.
Their Elite Bath Auto Spa.
Yeah.
Elite Bath. Auto Bath Elite on Airport Road. They're a huge company.
Yeah, I know.
Their pricing is very similar to ours.
Yeah.
I've searched up so many companies. The biggest most the biggest, the most established companies and their pricing maybe plus minus $25. It's all the same. There's not much difference.
I think Abe, that business is not built on detailing. It's built on automotive automotive
like
care.
paint correction.
Yeah, not even paint correction.
PPF.
They do a lot of like custom work now.
Yeah.
I think they're big in the very high end. And here's the thing, that market high end, they don't make any money out of the detailing, so they don't need to charge Uber prices because most of the cars that come in are very clean already. There are a lot of collector cars, a lot of very niche, very wealthy. So I would say I would say yes, maybe they don't charge significantly different, but I also think they don't care. That money means nothing to the overall business. It's part of kind of the caretaking of kind of more the higher end vehicles, and they're usually in better condition, and it like that's worth money. Like you do all those cars.
Funny thing is that company uses worse products than we do.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. People think like the higher end detailers will use the most incredible products, but I know the products they use. They use Bloomco products. All of their products are from Bloomco. And
Bloomco's okay. I don't think
it's okay. It's just not the best quality.
I wouldn't say. I would not say it's the top end, but I think they're very cost efficient for. I think they're great value. Local brand.
Great value.
I
but
support
for
them.
a company that is generating $2 million, $3 million a year,
No, at least 5
that
million,
are
to be
working
honest.
maybe 5 million, that's working on the highest end vehicles. It's funny that they're not working with like Polish Angel, Angel Wax. They're not working with the highest end quality product. You're working with the one that will give them the biggest bang for your buck, because that's a professional company. And I don't even I think they're doing things right. Their products are great. Almost all products, what you're trying to do is get it to be clean.
Yeah.
All cleaning products,
Yeah.
if you're getting it to be clean, there's no difference. The only thing is the protection products and the products that are trying to, you're dressing up a car with, like protectants, dressings, tire shine. Those are where it counts, because it's no longer about being clean, it's about durability. Is it matte black instead of oily shiny? So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Although I will say, the reason I think they also don't care that much is because most of their business isn't the detailing, so it just makes sense to order from one supplier, have everything, and Bloomco carries pretty much everything you need for a professional detailer to supply across Canada.
I think it's either Bloomco or Autobrite. I forgot. But I saw it once.
Autobrite's garbage. Okay.
Autobrite's terrible.
They're very low end, mediocre. They're cheap, but Bloomco's better. I've tried both.
Bloomco is much better, but
much better.
Autobrite is comparable to chemical guys, I'd say.
Maybe,
Very
yeah,
comparable.
yeah. I wouldn't use Autobrite for most of the stuff, unless it's like super whatever stuff. But they are cheap. I would say for the prosumer, they are cheap, and they're okay. It's like whatever. But I would say the reason Abe doesn't care and stuff like that is because, again, it's not part of their main business. So I will disagree with you on that, where if your main business, which are few and far between in my opinion in terms of actual detailing shops, your main business is doing high quality detailing work, I would say you would invest more into your products, because that would be one of the key selling points, the differentiator. Be like, I am the best detailing shop, or not the best product, not the best paint correction, not the best. You're the best detailing shop. Again, very niche business in terms of kind of how growth and scale, which is why they don't exist very a lot of really high end what they're marketing, like in terms of what they want to be as a company. It doesn't really exist. You don't see it because the profit margins don't come from that. They come from what Abe does, right? Working with high end customers, nice cars, very very expensive PPF wraps, right? Tinting, all sorts of automotive. That's where the money comes from. So obviously, they're going to focus all their product and marketing on that, because that's where the money is.
Yeah, I understand.
Now, if you had a company that just specifically were like, we are the best detailing shop in terms, and then I do think invest in their products and also kind of their service, and they could charge a premium 100%, because if you can have a reputation to prove that you are the best, I think everybody does pay for that in some aspects.
I think sort of, but there's a little bit of a you gotta be more specific. I think for auto detailing, if you're just getting a car that just needs to be vacuumed well, cleaned well, like not a vacuum wipe down like a basic, it's just 100% clean, 100% quality, but all it needed was like a vacuum, wipe it down, do the glass, wash it good, tire shine, whatever. The pricing is all the same. But those companies that's like, I'm the best, they can do everything. So it means like people will go to them for at the lowest be like, oh, I really want a really well pet hair removal service. Maybe they'll hit them up. I gave birth in my car. There's blood
What a
everywhere.
random example. Gave birth to my car.
It happens. I've gotten calls to that. It happens. People,
That is something I haven't.
People gave birth in the car. They're like, I got blood everywhere.
Are you sure they gave birth?
Yeah, and need it clean. They'll be like, okay, I need this service done well. I trust this company, they're the best. I want to pay a premium. I have mold in my car. This company is the best. I want to pay the premium and go to them. My car was flooded. I need this car stripped out. I'll pay a premium and get it cleaned by them. But in general, that basic detailing, what I call basic is like a full detail. It's 100% clean. That's like
Yeah.
what I consider basic. That basic level cleaning, detailing is all the same, except that company gets more of the unique detailing, where they have very, very specific things like cigarette smoke removal, odor removal.
Yeah.
There was a fish lying in their trunk that now has fish, and you need to get a CO2 bomb in there, carbon dioxide bomb. Chlorine dioxide bomb.
Chlorine dioxide.
And in that vehicle, take it out.
Not trying to kill somebody here.
Yeah, so
well, chlorine can kill you too.
so like things like that, then they go to them. Now those companies are taking all those jobs. It's
Yeah.
very, very specific.
More niche,
More niche.
more niche,
Yeah.
more expensive, 100%.
But then that in my opinion is not even detailing anymore. You're literally remediation. It's like if you,
I think it's an extension.
it's extension of cleaning.
Yeah.
But you don't say mold removal is detailing. It's mold remediation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very specific tools, specific process. So those guys are the best, and you go to them for niche services.
Okay. I can see
know.
that. I can see that in terms of I guess higher end services, but I think the niche again, the riches are in the niches. I think.
Yeah.
And so I think most detailers should specialize in something, not just generic. I think it does make sense.
Yeah, specialization's good.
I think specialization is something that's harder. Again, harder barrier to entry. I think is very key. If you want to make money and you want to be successful, I think specialization in something other than just the basic detail. I think you are correct. There has to be something there in your reputational or business kind of goals. I think, I think that's where kind of the money is at. I think any businesses that are successful in this kind of automotive care space, usually have something that they're really good at, and it's not just cleaning your vehicle.
Yeah.
But I think that ends off this episode of Charles Auto Spa with Joseph at Elixir Detailing. So catch you guys next time.